now. Probably
Got it.
now. There we
Yes.
go. So after class, I always send out an email. It may take me a couple of hours. Uh, it'll have the link to the YouTube recording of class. If you miss class for any reason, you've got an appointment or something, it'll have all the links for all the items we used during class and any things I want you to listen to for homework or files I want you to use that have questions for homework. And excelente. Buenos días. Muy buenos días y bienvenidos y bienvenidas a esta clase de español. Es una clase para practicar, es una clase de escucha, de hablar, de practicar, de leer un poco. ah, ah, Hacemos un poquito de todo. We do a little bit of everything. So, así que, uh, what I'm going to do today is going to take a few threads from different areas and just tie together, and it's designed to be an easy kind of run up to what we'll do for a couple of sessions here. Okay. Fantástico. Vamos a empezar. We're going to start with something that's kind of hmm, it's kind of a suggestion thing, and it might help for people who want to take the shortcut. Uh, I'll send you the link. We're not going to watch the whole video. We're going to kind of come in the middle. This is a guy who has learned a number of languages himself. He actually runs some websites that teach language skills to people. And he has a suggestion for how you should listen. So we're going to play this because it gives you suggestions on how to use the videos you'll get throughout class. Okay. What should you do? How should you listen? And so I'm not going to play the first part of it because he goes through the woes of, oh my gosh, I can speak a little bit, but I have a hard time once somebody starts talking and they're going, 100 miles a minute, 100 miles an hour. So we're going to watch this little part of it, and it shows you how to listen to the videos you'll get um, during class or for homework. Aquí. Ok. Pueden ver el hombre aquí. Sí, con la barba. You can see the guy with the beard, ¿verdad? ¿Sí o no?
Sí.
Sí. Bien. Ok.
Sí.
Él tiene sugerencias. He's got suggestions for how to listen. I hope I've got this keyed up to the exact right spot.
The cure begins not with a technique, but with a powerful mindset shift. You need to stop being a passive listener and become an active decoder.
So when you get videos to listen to, you need to become an active decoder. So just passive listening is just listening to something in the background. You turn on a podcast or a movie and you listen while you're cooking, you listen while you're cleaning, you're doing that. But that doesn't help you to totally focus on the message because your mind is in more than one place at a time. You're multitasking. So we have to become active decoders when we listen to things to learn and improve our skills.
Biggest mistake learners make is thinking that more passive exposure is the answer. You put on a podcast while you're working or have a movie playing in the background, hoping for fluency through osmosis. This is highly inefficient. Why? Well, because your brain, unable to understand the messy audio, simply tunes it out as background noise. Your new job is to become a detective for sounds. You need to actively hunt for patterns. You need to deconstruct fast speech and train your brain to recognize all the messy parts of the language we talked about. This is the reframe. Listening is not something you just absorb. It's a skill you must train systematically. And when you make the shift, everything changes. So, how do you become an active decoder? Well, you follow this 3-step system. It's simple, it's effective, and it's how I've trained my own ears in over a dozen languages. Step 1. Deconstruct with transcripts. The lab work. Your first step is what I call the lab work. This is your intensive training phase. Here's how to do it. Find a short audio or video clip about 5 to 7 minutes long that comes with a full transcript. Podcasts with transcripts or YouTube videos with accurate captions are perfect for this. The method is this. You play the audio and you read the transcript at the same time. Let me repeat that. Read and listen simultaneously. And no, this is not cheating. Your goal here is not to test your comprehension, it's to train it. Your main goal is to consume a lot of content by using the written language to understand the spoken language.
So instead of listening in the background, you've got your transcript or subtitles on, and you're listening and reading it at the same time, so that you're using more than one of your senses to get yourself trained to understand the spoken word better.
You're building a bridge between the clean written language you know and the messy spoken language you want to understand. You're mapping the sounds to the words. The focus should be on consuming a lot of content that is interesting and comprehensible to you. And one more thing. Reading and listening at the same time forces you to focus, which is the most essential element of paying attention and retaining information. Step 2, listen to review. Just listening. Now, after you've deconstructed, say, 10 of these short audio clips in your lab, you move to step 2, review. You need to expose yourself to the spoken language as much as possible. So you take all that content you already deconstructed, the content you now fully understand, and you put it on a playlist. You will re-listen to this content randomly during the day.
So now, listening to an audio more than once, okay, you've already broken it down, and you really have to listen to it more than one time. And ideally, you want to not all do it in one day. So you want to listen with the transcripts on, take any little notes where you need to, because there's some vocabulary you don't understand, or there's some little structure that you find a little strange. And now you kind of, you save this, but you give it a few days to kind of stew in your brain, right? And you come back to it and listen to it another time. All right. And having a little bit of time, a day between listening to these things, again, doing the repetition at a different time, a different iteration, is helpful because you are bringing it back into your brain and reviewing it actively.
I used to do this for Hungarian and Greek during my dead time, while commuting, taking a shower, burying bodies, getting or walking to get a coffee in the morning. The goal is pure exposure to the spoken language while you do other things. Here's why this is so effective. Listening to new things you do not understand is boring and extremely discouraging, but re-listening to content you have already deconstructed creates a bridge. It's enjoyable, it builds confidence, and it hammers those messy sound patterns into your long-term memory. Do this for at least 15 minutes a day and see the magic happen. Step 3, extensive listening, the real world. After you spend a significant amount of time in steps 1 and 2, and I recommend at least 200 hours of this kind of focused listening.
And get that number. Here's something that kind of shocks people. You listen to something that you've really broken down, deconstructed, and you listen to it a number of times. You need to do that for about 200 hours of the focused listening until you can go out and really try to take something that's totally novel, totally different in the podcast or video world and listen to it. Okay, so to get something totally new, totally novel, you got to have about 200 hours under your belt of the practice before you dip into that.
Listening, you can finally graduate to step 3, extensive listening, or the real world. Now, you can go back to just listening, but you're doing it with a trained ear and a new purpose. You can now put on the longer podcast, watch that TV show, or listen to audiobooks. The magic is that your brain, having been systematically trained through deconstruction and review, will now be much better equipped to pick up the words and patterns in the messy stream of native speech. What was once passive, inefficient exposure has become now a form of active reinforcement. You'll start having those aha moments where you effortlessly understand a sentence that would have flown right past you before. So the system is quite simple. Deconstruct, review, and then listen extensively. If you can speak but cannot understand, the reason is clear. You haven't systematically trained the skill of decoding. The solution is not more speaking practice. You need focused, active listening practice. This is the method that closes the gap between your speaking and listening skills. This is a system that turns confusion into clarity and frustration into confidence. To help you start your lab work immediately, I want you to have.
Okay. So I'm going to stop it there. Uh, and so I want you to kind of keep that in mind when you get a homework assignment, or when you listen to any podcast that you might listen to for fun. That third step, the listening to something totally novel because you've had about 200 hours under your belt. A really good podcast to do that with would be something, it's called Cinco Cosas, Five Things. And it's something that CNN puts out on on their podcasts. Cinco Cosas en Español, Five Things in Spanish. And it'll like do the top five stories. But that would be the step three part. We're going to look at the step one and the step two part, and we're going to break down, do a video together. See, Kathleen.
Well, maybe you're going to get to this, but I'm a little confused about what he means by deconstruct. So you're listening to it and then you're trying to identify the words that you're not understanding
Right, 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 right.
and
So,
focus
okay.
on those
So
chunks.
listening to something while you're cleaning or while you're gardening, but not focusing on it, not deconstructing it. That is like the step two. So you're kind of putting the cart before the horse. So the first time you listen to a video, the deconstructing part is putting on subtitles and, hitting pause when there's a word you don't get and you can't pick it out from context, what it probably means. Taking little notes of here are things I need to look up or things I don't get or anything like that. And
Mhm.
at that point, the deconstructing part where you're really figuring out what that big message of the video and the audio is, you don't want to be doing something else. You want to get that kind of set up so that not necessarily that you translate every bit of it, no, but that you understand the message. Okay. And the part about listening to the review part, the step two part, that review part, oops, there goes my camera. That review part is something that where you can put on the old video or the old podcast and listen while you're working. Okay. Once you have kind of once you've gotten the big picture, that you understand the main message, that you've listened super closely and focused on the message, when you listen to it the second time as a review, you can do it as your background while you're gardening, while you're cooking, that kind of thing. See? Bien?
Sí,
Make sense
gracias.
now?
Sí.
Okay, vale, magnífico. Perdón, I'm trying to adjust. My camera wants to put me, different places. Okay, bien. Buena pregunta. Good question. So I'm going to send you the link if you want to watch the whole thing. That's great. The early part of the video, you'll probably go, "Oh, that's happened to me." Uh, but he breaks down a method for improving your listening skills. Active listening and filling in the blanks, understanding what the message is, then reviewing that same video or audio again, because you've already broken down the little parts, going back and reviewing. And then after you've got a lot of experience, you can start to venture out and do some totally novel, new things that it's, information you haven't listened to ahead of time. Okay? Está bien? Are we good? Okay. Fantástico. We are going to do this actually very, very soon. But first, first, we're going to have a little mini lesson because this is a lesson for it's something that people wanted me to cover. Yeah. If I can get my thing to go. Oh, okay. We're going to bring up a new file. Sorry, guys. Lo siento. The topic I want to start with is a topic that you are going to see repeated in a couple of videos we're going to use for examples. And it's something I'm going to want you to work on beyond the videos, work on with some questions, personal questions that put these words into practice. Okay? Y la idea general, la pregunta de un estudiante aquí en la clase es llevar versus traer. You might think, who cares? Well, okay. Llevar has many definitions. Take, carry, even wear, even that. We're going to put that one in parentheses because we don't use that one all the time. You're going to hear it more as the first two. We. Okay. Versus bring. And this is something that causes people a lot of trouble. And somebody said to me, hey, can you go over this again? And we happen to have a couple of videos that are going to illustrate and bring this out and show you examples. And then we're going to do, during your week off, we'll practice this a lot. And you'll come back with your own examples of using, actually using this. En mi opinión, llevar, el verbo llevar, es el verbo que ustedes van a usar con más frecuencia. We're going to focus on the llevar part of this. But it's often presented as a question of llevar versus traer. And there are kind of rules for this in Spanish that get confusing. Okay, why does it get confusing? Because often you ask somebody, you're invited to a party, you're invited to a dinner party, you're coming over for a luncheon, lo que sea. And you ask, what can I bring? What can I bring? And in that question, you really need to use not the verb that translates in the dictionary as traer, to bring. You need that, llevar. So why? Why does this happen? Llevar versus traer. Okay, and the whole thing of whether to use llevar versus traer is that it's all about location. Okay, and why do I say that? And let's make this a little bit bigger so it's easier for you to see on screen. It's all about location. Llevar, in its very, very core sense, means that you are transporting something. You are picking it up and carrying it over to someplace else. That's what llevar at its core. It's used for more than that, but for what we're going to start off with, that's llevar. You're picking something up, you're transporting it, you're moving it from one place to another. Okay? And in English, what that means is the idea that you are trying to convey to somebody by using this verb llevar is that you are taking something to another place. That's what it is. But we use llevar from the point of view of the person who is picking it up and taking it over. Okay? Llevar looks at the location of the person who is doing the picking it up and the carrying it over. Yes. Okay. It's all about location. Traer, which literally means to bring, is used from the point of view of the receiver, the person who is getting that object. Okay? So, for example, in a really typical use, llevar, uh, that invitation to the party, see? You're on the phone with your friend. ¿Qué puedo llevar? What can I bring? What can I pick up, walk or drive over to your place and bring to your house to help with that party? ¿Qué puedo llevar? What can I bring? Even though really we're not going to use the bring verb for that because I am picking something up and moving it to a different place. Okay? But once I arrive at your door, once I arrive at your door and I've got that thing I'm bringing for the party, then I might say to the hostess or host, um, ah, I say, mira, look, te traigo esta botella de vino. Look, I brought you this bottle of wine because now you're at the destination. Traer is used from the point of view of the receiver from the destination, okay, of that movement. Okay, so that's where these two verbs, they're kind of opposite sides of the coin with the movement. Okay, so llevar can be used to talk about taking people places, taking objects or things places. Okay, bien. And traer is the destination. So here's what to know. From the point of view of somebody who's got to use this and think about it fast. El truco, yeah, the real trick is this. The real trick is traer you're going to typically use when you say something like this to a waiter. You want to convey the message to the el mesero, la mesera, the waiter or waitress, ¿sí? Tráigame otro café, por favor. Tráigame otro café, por favor. Bring me, because I'm sitting at my table and here's where I want that coffee to wind up. I'm the destination. So when I talk about the movement of that cup of coffee or that carafe of coffee that is going to get poured into my cup, I want to use traer. Tráigame, bring me. Okay. Tráigame otro café, por favor. O, por ejemplo, sí, muy típico. Tráigame la cuenta, por favor. Bring me the bill, please, because I want that little piece of paper here at my destination where I'm sitting here. Yeah? En la mesa, at the table. So traer is for the destination. Bien? And llevar is for the transporting process, the moving of that item, if you will. Okay? So those are the two uh, explanations for when we use traer and llevar. We're going to hear this in one super short example, and we're going to hear it used again. I'm pretty sure it's a couple of times in the video, and we're going to then listen to this video actively to show you how you listen for that big picture message. And I used my fingers again, and I got myself all out of focus with my camera. Perdón. Okay. Bien. So here is the first snippet, and this is going to be super brief. Ejemplos, examples, if you will. Okay. A ver. Okay. Uh, I want you to listen for the way she introduces this. This is going to be super brief.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Mi nombre es Mónica, soy tutora de español.
Okay, so now she's introduced herself. That's all we know, right? See?
Y el día de hoy te traigo otro ejercicio para practicar.
Ah, y el día de hoy, today, el día de hoy te traigo. I bring to you because she's here with you at the destination. She brings something to you. She's bringing this picture to do practice, this exercise to bring practice to you. Te traigo, I bring you. See? Te traigo. Even though this is a virtual I bring you, yeah, the message is I'm getting something to your destination, and therefore it's traigo. It's traigo. But actually, in a normal video, you're probably going to hear that other verb, llevar, a little bit more. And because that's the one you're going to practice with, we're going to listen to a different video. And this one is going to be an extended listening. And once I put the screen up, I won't be able to see you. So if you put your hand up, I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see you once I put the share on. So if you want me to stop, yell out. Interrúmpanme, interrupt me, okay? Interrupt me when you need to. Hola, Nora.
Hi, sorry I was late.
No,
I
no.
thought in that example, it seemed like she was bringing it to us from her office to our office, so it should be llevar.
Well, she's not, and this is that's kind of a figurative example, but what she's doing is she's bringing a lesson to the student, and the emphasis is on that destination.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I just need
This
more
is for,
practice.
yeah. So her emphasis is this is for you guys, and that's why it's te traigo. I bring
Okay,
you. Eso, ¿sí?
okay,
It's no different than tráigame la cuenta. It's no different than tráigame otra taza de café. ¿Sí? Tráigame otro café. It's no different except, she's bringing something abstract. Yeah. An idea, a piece of thing for practice rather than a physical object. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be listening for examples of llevar, how they pop up. Okay, bien. We're listening for the other side of the coin, which I think you're going to hear more with people using conversational than traer. And we're also going to be practicing how we listen to a video how we maybe make notations about things, how we have this set up for listening with subtitles, because we'll have probably a few new people. So now you are off my screen. If you need to interrupt me, do so, but yell out. Don't be shy. So remember, probably for this particular video, it may feel a little fast at first, but you'll eventually get into the rhythm. There is a way to control the speed, that gearbox, but boy, you got to be really, really careful with that, because the playback speed, the slowest you can really set it where it sounds like a human being, is 0.75, 75% of the normal speed. That's the slowest you can play it. Otherwise, it sounds like molasses, okay? We're going to set it to normal speed. And also, when we click on that CC box, we're going to get subtitles in Spanish. They are AI generated, so you get some little blips and mistakes here and there, but definitely have this on while you listen. We're going to show you how we do that together.
Chicos, Andrea la mexicana está en el aeropuerto y hoy voy a México. Regreso a México.
Okay, I had a little trouble getting it to click on. So we're listening for llevar examples, and we're listening for the big idea, not to translate every word, but to definitely fill in holes where we don't get something from context or where we don't know a vocabulary.
Hola chicos, una vez más su mexicana aquí hablando con ustedes. ¿Cómo están el día de hoy?
Just an introduction, right? You don't need to translate that. She identifies herself.
Chicos, hoy me estoy preparando para viajar a México. Voy de regreso. No, continuaré.
Voy de regreso. Voy de regreso. Regreso. Regresar es to return, ¿sí? Ok. Ella, voy a contarles. Ella es mexicana y ella vive en Canadá, vive en Vancouver, en la ciudad de Vancouver, ¿sí? Y ella trabaja y estudia en Canadá. Entonces va a viajar a México y voy de regreso. I'm going back.
En Canadá, pero voy.
Marilyn,
veamos.
question.
Sí.
I thought, why is it regreso and not the infinitive after the preposition?
No.
Voy de regreso. She could have phrased it as voy a regresar. Voy a, there you would use an a. Voy a regresar. I'm going to return. Voy de regreso. I'm going back. But we can't use the word back. Well, we do, but it's de regreso. Voy de regreso. It's regreso, not an infinitive, because I've got a little de. She chose to use the de to express that idea. There are, those prepositions are the worst things to get used to. See? Bien? Throwing in a different preposition can change the little structure that we need to use. But now, even if that's something to go back and maybe decode. Oh, it's regreso because she's got the word de. Voy de regreso. I'm going back. I'm going on a return trip. She could have chosen to phrase it as voy a regresar. There is often more than one way to express a similar or the same idea. And this is just one of those instances. ¿Sí? ¿Bien?
Sí,
Okay.
gracias.
De nada, de nada.
Continuaré en Canadá, pero voy.
I'll keep on being in Canada. I'll still be in Canada. And then she used a future. It's just no. Continuar, that means continue. I'm continuing on in Canada.
Digamos, de vacaciones a México. Estoy.
Pero hoy, digamos, I'm going, let's say, that digamos is a nice little chunk. Digamos is, let's say, I'm going, let us say, on vacation, de vacaciones.
Estoy aquí con la sensación de que algo se me va a olvidar, pero nada se nos puede olvidar. Estoy aquí terminando un último video antes de viajar.
Y ahora ella habla de la acción que ella tiene que hacer en casa antes de viajar, ¿sí? Estoy aquí terminando. I'm here finishing, ¿sí? And she's using this as the terminando in real time while she's talking on camera. She actually is doing this job of finishing up an editing job. Terminando un último video antes de viajar. I'm finishing a last video before traveling. Antes de viajar, before traveling. I know. Terminando is ending, and viajar here is traveling, even though it's not the ing form. Antes de viajar, before traveling. Antes de, before.
Todavía estoy trabajando hoy lunes a las 5 de la tarde.
I'm still working 5 in the afternoon on a Monday.
Grabando videos. Y bueno, les cuento
Grabando, recording, okay?
que aquí yo ya tengo unas cosas que me voy a llevar.
Our first llevar. Our first llevar. Ya tengo unas cosas. I already have some things que me voy a llevar that I'm going to take with me. Yeah? She is not at the destination of Mexico. She is on her way. So she is bringing this stuff with her or taking this stuff with her. So she needs to use llevar. Me voy a llevar. I'm going to take, and the me is just with me. Okay? Me voy a llevar. I'm going to take with me.
El caos es la locura cuando hago mis
And es el caos. It's a mess. Locura, craziness. Okay, you know how your house or bedroom looks while you're packing, right? Stuff everywhere. That's what she's talking about. Chaos. It's a chaos. They like to use that word chaos when everything is a mess. Es un caos. Es una locura. It's crazy. It's messy.
maletas. Siempre viajo con una maleta grande para documentar y
I always travel with what kind of thing? Una maleta grande? ¿Qué
A
es
big
una,
suitcase.
a big suitcase para documentar? To document, to check. A big bag to check. Yeah, documentar, we can't really document. Well, we can document. When we check something, we have a document saying, I'm putting this in. Documentar means she's checking it in.
una maleta pequeña que va conmigo.
Y una maleta pequeña que va conmigo.
It's going with me.
And a small suitcase that's going with me, that goes with me.
Y también llevo mi mochila. Pero
And here's the llevar again. Y también llevo mi mochila. And here the llevo is a take. And I always take my backpack. See? And here it's the take idea. I am picking up mi mochila, my backpack, and moving it with me.
la cosa es que yo grabo en México. Entonces siempre tengo
And thing is that I'm recording in Mexico.
que cargar conmigo una lámpara. Tengo que llevarme el equipo de grabación.
She's going to talk about all the stuff she's got to pack. And you know, you don't want to use tomar and llevar. You want to mix up tomar, llevar, tener, and cargar. Cargar is to load up, to load something on. Like loading something, originally this verb came into being from cargar, would bring to mind like a cart pulled by a beast of burden. Cargar was loading things in. So she's going to load on her una lámpara, a light. See? Literally, that is not a lamp, but a light she's using for recording. She's talking about her equipment. And now she's brought in to not repeat cargar again. She brings in the llevarme. I'm going to take my recording equipment. Tengo que llevarme. I have to take with me my recording equipment.
estos miles de
Marilyn,
cables.
why
Sí,
is
sí,
it?
sí.
Why does she have llevarme? Like, is that reflexive?
It's not it it sort of is reflexive, but it's not the llevarme bien, like get along well. Llevar has many, many meanings. You're going to see that a little bit later. But this is take with me. The me is there to say, I'm taking it with me.
So instead of saying like conmigo,
Instead of saying conmigo,
do-
sí, exacto, exacto, exactly right, sí, correcto. Tengo que llevarme el equipo. I gotta take along with me my recording equipment. Estos miles de cables, these thousands of cables, cables, yeah. Do you think she's exaggerating when she says miles de cables?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But sometimes you feel like that when you're packing, yeah? You got a cable for, if you bring like an iPad, you got a cable to charge your phone. You got, yeah, maybe a cable to charge, if you've got like a separate camera. Oh, and then, if you've got recording equipment like sound, if you've got a microphone, oh my gosh, now miles de cables. There's where the miles de cables comes in, thousands of
La
cables.
computadora, la cámara, la otra cámara, los micrófonos. Es un mundo
Yeah, all that equipment.
de cosas.
Es un mundo de cosas. Is she exaggerating? Exagera, sí. Es un mundo de cosas. It's a world of stuff, a world of things. A ton of stuff, you might say in English.
Y la cosa es que no sé qué piensan ustedes, pero
And the thing is that, I don't know what you
está
guys think,
cambiando el mundo
pero está cambiando el mundo, but the world is changing.
y también el clima cambia.
Y también el clima cambia, and the
Yeah. The
The
weather's changing.
weather. Yeah, the weather is changing. She's thinking about all the stuff she's got to pack.
Ahorita en México,
Ahorita, right now, and she means like really right now, as we're talking, right now, in real time. Ahorita, right now,
donde voy,
where
la
I'm
cosa
going.
está que está lloviendo mucho, que a veces hace mucho calor, que a veces hace
Oh, she's talking about what she's got to pack for in Mexico. ¿Sí? Está lloviendo. A veces hace mucho calor. It's raining. Sometimes it's really hot.
frío, está
Sometimes
medio
it's
raro el
cold.
clima.
Está medio raro. The weather is a little raro. Not rare, but
Strange.
weird. Meaning it's variable, it's changeable, right? She's talking about the weather is changeable. It's a changeable time of year for the weather. Está medio raro. It's kind of weird. Raro aquí es weird, odd.
Aquí en Vancouver, ahora que estoy grabando esto, se está acabando el verano, ya estamos entrando en otoño.
En Vancouver, donde estoy grabando, where I'm recording this, se está acabando el verano. Summer is, se está acabando. It is,
It's finished.
summer is ending. Acabar is to end. Yeah. Se está acabando. Summer is ending. Y estamos entrando en otoño. We are
Entering fall.
entering, we're coming into fall, right?
Y el tipo de ropa que me tengo que llevar, a veces no lo sé, no sé qué llevar.
And the kind of what clothing I've got to wear, it's that change of season stuff, yeah. No sé qué llevarme. I don't know what to take with me. And you're right. Tienes razón, Lori. Sí, llevarme is instead of saying llevar conmigo. She could have chosen to say llevar conmigo, take with me. But it is really typical for people to just say llevarme because I take something along with me. And the me part tells that I'm bringing it for myself. Okay? Es para mí. Okay.
Que improvisar o pedir prestado a mi madre un poco de ropa.
I've got to improvise or ask for something from my mom. Ask for a little bit of clothing from my mom. Prestado is loaned. And pedir prestado means to borrow because you ask to have something loaned to you. Yeah, there isn't really a strict word borrow in Spanish because somebody loans something to you. Pedir prestado. I ask for something on loan. A little bit of clothes, un poco de ropa.
Pero bueno, pues van a viajar conmigo. Vámonos, vámonos, vámonos. Confieso que estoy un poco nerviosa porque voy a cruzar la frontera. Tengo
Confieso. I confess that I feel how?
Nerves.
I feel a little bit nervous porque voy a cruzar la frontera.
Crossing
Frontera.
the U.S. border.
I have to cross the border. I'm going to cross the border. Voy a cruzar la frontera. I'm going to cross the border.
una escala. Normalmente tengo mi
Oh, tengo una escala. You might not know that word, escala. Tengo una escala. Well, if she's flying and she's crossing a border, she's going from Canada to Mexico, escala becomes a stop. A stopover. Okay, whether that's on a train or a plane, lo que sea, whatever it might be. Tengo una escala. I've got a stopover.
escala en Ciudad de México.
Normalmente tengo mi escala en Ciudad de México. Normally I have my stopover in Mexico City.
Pero esta vez tengo escala en Estados Unidos.
Oh, but this time I've got a stop in the US.
¿Cómo me siento?
How do I feel?
He tenido escalas antes en Estados Unidos, pero me siento
He tenido just puts in the past. It's the have you ever? Oh, I have had stopovers before, antes, before, in the US.
un poco, no sé qué pensar, un poco
But I feel, no sé qué pensar. I don't know what to think about this.
nerviosa
A
porque
little nervous.
pues tengo una escala de 4 horas, me parece.
How long is her stopover?
Yeah, 4 hours.
4 hours. Ooh, that's a layover. Yeah, that's not just a stop, that's a layover for sure.
Y siempre tengo retrasos en ese aeropuerto. Ya fui antes
Oh, y siempre tengo retrasos. And I always have retrasos, delays. Retraso is a delay. Something takes longer than it's supposed to, see?
a este aeropuerto en Estados Unidos, que ya verán cuál es. Y es un aeropuerto gigante.
And she describes what the airport is like. Es un aeropuerto
Con
gigante
miles de lugares para ir
with thousands of places to go
y mucha seguridad y muchas
and lots of security checks.
revisiones. Vamos a ver cómo me va, pero siempre con buena energía, positiva y vamos, vamos, vamos. Como
Okay, so she's kind of got a little bit of hesitancy about how this is going to go, but she's trying to think positively.
todo va a salir bien, voy a llegar a mi destino a las 11 de la noche.
Sí, como todo va a salir bien, if everything comes out well, I'm going to get to my destination. This is not llevar, to take, but llegar, to arrive. I'll get to my destination at 11 at night.
Y voy a salir a las 11:30 de la mañana de Vancouver. Así que vámonos a esta aventura.
Es un vuelo largo. It's a long flight.
Bueno, chicos, he llegado al aeropuerto. La verdad que me gusta mucho el aeropuerto de Vancouver, es muy
Oh, she talks about getting to where she's starting her journey, right? See? Me gusta mucho. I like it a lot. I like this airport.
tranquilo, muy
It's really
pacífico, muy
calm, very peaceful,
silencioso
quiet.
y tengo emociones encontradas, pero
Tengo emociones encontradas. Ah, encontrar is to find. How do you find an emotion? Okay. That's something you might either look up or say, I'm going to make a note of where that happens. Oh, that happens about 3:40 into the video. Hey, Marilyn, what does she mean by emociones encontradas? A found emotion? No, she's got conflicting emotions.
Mm.
Uh, yeah. So that word, even though you know encontrar might be hard to get from context, when you listen to the second time, you will understand the context, but you probably need to have that word explained. Emociones encontradas, they are conflicting or opposing emotions. Okay.
ya encontré mi puerta de salida.
Oh, I already found my gate.
Y sí, chicos, yo nunca vi esto en otro aeropuerto.
I've never seen this. I never saw this in any other airport.
¿Alguien puede decirme si lo han visto en otro lugar que no sea Vancouver?
Es una máquina que dispensa agua caliente. Agua caliente para el té, el chocolate caliente, algo así. Bien. Bien.
Voy a salir por la puerta número 79. Estoy
I'm going out through gate
aquí,
79.
está aquí enfrente de mí. Bueno, pasé la entrevista con los oficiales de Estados Unidos.
Pasé. I went through a what?
Interview.
An interview with US, because that's her next
Que
stop.
siempre es lo que me pone más nerviosa. Cuando he cruzado la frontera,
que siempre lo que me pone más nerviosa. It always gets me
Yeah.
nervous. Poner that is reflexive. Me pongo los zapatos. I put on my shoes. Me pongo una chaqueta. I put on a jacket. But me pone más nerviosa. It puts me in this mood. Poner with a description, with an emotion, means that you're getting to feel a certain way. Okay? Me pone nerviosa. It puts me in a nervous mood.
he tenido sensaciones interesantes. Sí, me preguntó que por qué estaba en Canadá. Y
Me preguntó. He asked me, and she doesn't really name it, but some guy who gave her interview, right? Me preguntó. He asked me por qué estaba en Canadá, why? And the estaba is connected to the idea of yo, why I was in Canada.
y bueno, le expliqué. Me preguntó que
Le expliqué. I explained to him. Le expliqué.
si tenía visa. Yo sé que
Me preguntó que si tenía visa. He asked me if I had a visa.
tengo visa y que todo está bien, pero el simple hecho de hacerte esas preguntas es como, chin, ¿qué va a pasar? ¿Qué va a pasar?
Bien, ok. Y explica, sí, la experiencia de alguien en una entrevista, preguntando, sí, muchas cosas, sí, te pone nerviosa, te pone inquieta. Yeah, it makes you unsettled.
En fin, documenté mi maleta y tuve que sacarle
I checked in my baggage, sí.
un par de cosas. Se había
Tuve que sacarle un par de cosas. Sacar. Sacar es take out. I had to take out a couple of things.
pasado, no supe por cuánto, pero que según esto se pasó por
So she was over her weight limit on the luggage.
unos cuantos gramos el peso de mi maleta y
El peso, there's the, right? She was over a few grams on the weight of her
tuve que
luggage.
sacar algo. Pero bueno, se fue. Voy a recoger mi maleta hasta que llegue a mi destino final y por
Yeah. Gonna pick up my luggage when I get to the final destination.
aquí tengo mi maleta, mi mochila y a mí misma.
Y a mí misma, myself.
Bueno, ahora son las 10 de la mañana y se supone que tenemos que empezar a subir al avión a las 11.
And here is a structure that might cause you a little confusion. You get the general idea. The general idea is that what? When she's getting on. Subir is to get on a vehicle. We're supposed to. This se supone que tenemos is what might cause confusion. Tenemos que empezar, but you get the general idea, even if you don't know this little chunk of se supone que. Tenemos que empezar a subir. We have to start getting on the plane at 11, right? Se supone que just turns this idea into we're supposed to. That's all it does. But even if you don't know that se supone chunk, you can note that down. Oh, this is around minute 5. I'll bring it in and ask in class next week if you don't know, right? And you still, however, understand the big idea, which is we have to start boarding. We have to start getting on. And subir literally means to go up, like stairs, but it also means to step up because you're getting into a vehicle. So when you're getting into a car, getting into the subway, getting into a cab, getting onto a plane, then we use that verb subir because you're getting on.
Voy a trabajar un poco y continuemos. Chicos, he llegado a Dallas. Estoy en Dallas en este momento. Me han cambiado de puerta, de portón de salida como 3 veces.
Me han cambiado. They have changed up her what? How many times?
Gate.
They've changed her gate 3 veces. 3 times.
Y ahora me he sentado en la puerta número D33. Estoy aquí
And I just sat down at gate 33.
afuera, muy cerca. Déjenme decirles que he estado dando vueltas también porque este aeropuerto es gigante. Es muy
And I've been walking around. Dando vueltas is to literally give turns, but it means you're just walking around, in this case in circles. I'm just walking around because this airport is
muy
huge.
grande y he estado buscando algo para comer.
And what is her objective in walking around? He estado buscando algo para comer.
Something to eat.
I've been, yeah, and she's in search of, she's hunting for it because we see that buscando, looking for. I've been looking for something to
Ha
eat.
sido difícil. Número 1, porque no como gluten. Número
Porque no como gluten. It's been hard and she doesn't eat gluten.
2, porque estoy tratando de buscar algo saludable. Algo que
So it's hard because she's looking for gluten-free. Secondly, it's hard because she's trying to find something that's what kind of food? Algo saludable.
Healthy.
Something healthy.
me nutra.
Something que me nutra. Something that is nutritious for me.
Después de viajar tanto, son las 7 de la noche y mi
7
vuelo
at
sale a las 9:32. Tengo tiempo, no hay problema, estoy caminando, viendo la gente, viendo los lugares y las tiendas.
So she's just strolling around watching, looking at everything, right? just strolling around, caminando, viendo a la gente, watching people.
Entonces me puse a buscar algo saludable en los lugares
So I started to look for something healthy.
que he visitado. Estaba muy feliz porque solo gasté $9.37.
She's really happy because she only spent, and that shouldn't say, oh, here's an AI mistake. She did not spend $937, although sometimes it feels like you're spending that much at the airport, doesn't it? Nueve con. The con means with, and the con is what people use sometimes when we have a decimal point. 9,37. 9,37. I only spent $9.37.
Dólares americanos. Y bueno, en el aeropuerto sabemos que a veces la comida es cara.
And in el aeropuerto, in the airport, sabemos, we know that a veces, sometimes, food is what?
Expensive.
Expensive. So she's happy she only had to fork over $9.37.
Lo que he comprado, $9. ¡Wow! Excelente. Me compré este
Me
queso.
compré, and I bought for myself. I didn't purchase my body, I bought for myself. Me compré.
Este queso, estos chicharrones, que solamente son chicharrones con solo chicharrones, y este yogurt, porque necesito proteína. Y bueno, acabo de darme cuenta de que hay un lugar donde preparan ensaladas por aquí.
Oh, and I just found out that they prepare salads. Por aquí, over here. Por aquí, around here.
Vi ensaladas en otros lugares, pero se veían muy feas.
Vi ensaladas. I saw salads in other places, pero se veían muy feas.
They looked bad.
They looked
Ugly.
bad. They looked ugly. Yeah. When something looks bad, when a situation is bad, when a product looks bad, it is very common to use that word feo, ugly, in Spanish to describe it. See, se veían muy feas. They looked really awful. They looked crummy. They looked kind of gross. Se veían muy feas.
Siempre hay que tener cuidado cuando uno viaja y en cualquier lugar también.
Yeah,
Pero
you've
bueno.
always got to be careful when you're traveling and really any place.
Voy a comer esto, voy a estar feliz, estoy un poco cansada. Hace un año que no piso Estados Unidos, que no había estado
It's been a year since she has set foot in the U.S.
aquí y
I haven't
me
been
da
here.
cierta nostalgia. De verdad que extraño mucho visitar a mi amiga Jennifer.
Me extraño mucho visitar a mi amiga Jennifer. She misses visiting a friend of hers who lives in the
Y
U.S.
bueno, también explorar Estados Unidos porque
And she misses kind of just, touring around, explorar, touring around.
tiene lugares muy bonitos también. Y algún día. Pues no
Someday.
lo había hecho por la situación de mi visa en Canadá y la última vez que fui hace un año, fui con un permiso, con visa, con todo bien, me fui en autobús, tengo un video por ahí, y la persona de la frontera me hizo muchísimas preguntas y me dio un poquito de miedo ahora, no de miedo, pero como, sí, precaución, ¿no? Hay que tener precaución.
Okay, and she talks about that process of being questioned because just, as a visitor on vacation, but her visa's with Canada, she feels real uneasy about the present situation, setting foot in the States. So traveling within our country right now is not a comfortable thing for her because, her visa is not for the US, her visa is for Canada. And she gets a lot of questions. Okay, muchas preguntas. So we're going to stop it there because you saw how we went through that. And you're going to finish that video because it tells the whole story. Okay, but you saw a lot of examples of the use of that verb llevar. Okay. And there she was always talking about taking stuff. Yeah, taking stuff with her, right? Llevar. Bien. So you're going to finish the rest of the video. It's going to be another 7 minutes, which is about the perfect thing from what that guy told us when we're decoding something. You want to pick something that's around 7 or 8 minutes, and that's what you're going to have. And it will be a storytelling thing. So you're looking for the big picture. You're looking at noting down like the minutes when at the minute mark where there's a vocabulary word you don't know, or you get the general idea, but it's like, why did they use that little structure? Like the se supone que, yeah. Make a little note of that and come to class if you don't quite get it. ¿Sí? Bien. Pero, la idea principal es que vamos a usar el verbo llevar. We're going to use that verb llevar. Bien. And we're going to show you a whole bunch of ways that llevar is used. So we're going to go through this now because your questions are going to be based on this that you're going to use in class. And we'll do probably a couple of them together today. Pero vamos a ver los usos más comunes para llevar. We're going to kind of
welcome back
fast
to another Spanish lesson.
go through this. Reasons of using llevar.
The most common way to use llevar is to carry or to take something or someone from one place to another.
Right.
And this is what you heard in the video, okay? Llevar. And it's from the point of view, we're using llevar from the point of view of the person who's physically picking that thing up or moving it or carrying it or taking it.
Like, for example, I always take my backpack to school.
Siempre llevo mi mochila a la escuela.
Can you carry the tray to the table, please?
¿Puedes llevar la charola a la mesa, por favor?
Can you take me to the airport?
¿Me puedes llevar al aeropuerto?
And there's one where we are taking not a thing or an object, but a person. Me puedes llevar. Can you take me? Me puedes llevar. Okay.
He took his cat to the vet.
Él llevó a su gato al veterinario.
And sometimes we move another living being, not not a piece of luggage, right? You take your dog or your cat to the vet. Llevó a su gato. Llevó a su gato, and then we need an a because we consider a pet in the same category as a human being. It's a living thing that we love very much. So we use that a personal, even though it's not a human being. Llevó a su gato. Okay.
Now, quick side note here. Sometimes there's a lot of confusion for Spanish students between llevar, when it means to take, and the verb traer, when it means to bring. Now, we've already done a video lesson on llevar versus...
And they have, but we've already told you. Llevar is from the...
Basically, we use llevar when moving something away from the speaker's location, taking something or someone somewhere.
And we use traer when bringing something towards the speaker's location.
So traer is what we use when you are sitting at your table and you want somebody, a waiter or waitress, to bring something to you. Or you want your kids to bring something to you because you're sitting in your favorite chair. See? Algo así. Traer is used from the point of view of the person receiving that, the destination.
To bring something here.
Yeah, so llevar, to take something there, and traer, to bring something here. Now, number two, llevar can also be used to talk about what someone is wearing. This could be anything from clothing to accessories to hairstyles. For example, Maria is wearing a red dress.
María lleva un vestido rojo.
So normally it's fine to use the verb llevar by itself because in context it makes sense. But if it's out of context, we might not be sure if Maria is wearing the dress or, like the previous example, she's taking it somewhere. So if that's the case, we need to add the word puesto, and this emphasizes that the dress is being worn.
Okay, so you can communicate this idea just by saying María lleva un vestido rojo. But when we inject that little word puesto, it means it is put on the body. Not that she's picking it up and taking it to the dry cleaner, for example, which would still be llevar, but María lleva puesto. And it's put on her, and it's puesto, a masculine word for placed, puesto, because it's talking about vestido. Vestido, the dress is placed on her body. So, lleva puesto, she's got it on her person. Lleva puesto, she's wearing it. The puesto just emphasizes that she's wearing it, it's on her body. Not she has it on a hanger on her hand without the word puesto. Okay?
So for example, Maria is wearing a red dress.
María lleva puesto un vestido rojo.
My dad is wearing the watch I gave him for his birthday.
Mi papá lleva puesto el reloj que le regalé en su cumpleaños.
So, in context, if it makes sense, you can just use llevar by itself, but if you need to emphasize it's being worn, we use llevar puesto. So another example, we could say, my brother always wears glasses.
Mi hermano siempre lleva lentes.
Or, I like how you wear your hair.
Me gusta cómo llevas el cabello.
Number 3, when talking about how long someone has been doing something, if we use llevar, we're going to sound like a pro to native Spanish speakers. But there are 2 tricks to it. When it's an affirmative sentence, the common structure is llevar plus a period of time plus the present participle.
And this is something you're going to prep for your questions to bring in next week. Llevar with a chunk of time. Okay. And it can't be a chunk of time like a day of the week or a month. It's got to be a block of time. Okay. A period of time is that term they use there. And an ing verb. That present participle means an ing, an ando or yendo.
For example, I've been studying Spanish for 3 years.
Llevo 3 años estudiando español.
So one way to think about this is it doesn't mean I am carrying or taking 3 years, but it's kind of like saying I've been carrying on doing this. In this case, estudiando español. I've been carrying on with this for 3 years. Yeah. So if you think of this as I've been carrying on doing this activity, that might help you a little bit. Llevo 3 años estudiando español. Llevo, now we got a chunk of time, 3 años, and now we've got our ando verb, estudiando, right? See?
We have llevar, llevo, plus a period of time, 3 años, plus the present participle, estudiando. And if we say, we've been traveling for a month.
Llevamos un mes viajando. Well, this is...
And there's another chunk of time. It's not a month like octubre. It's a month, a chunk of time. Llevamos un mes viajando. We've been carrying on. Get that, carrying. Traveling. We've been carrying on traveling, and we've been doing it for a month.
It's a common structure. You could say, llevamos viajando un mes. Remember, Spanish is a little bit more flexible than English with word order.
Now, if it's a question, we still have llevar and the verb in the present participle, but now we don't have our time period. We want to ask how much time you've been doing something. And in that, we'll use cuánto tiempo. So for example, how long have you been working here?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevas trabajando aquí?
How long have they been dating?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevan saliendo de novios?
And our second trick is when it's negative, we're going to have the verb llevar and then our period of time, but instead of the present participle, we're going to add the word sin and then the infinitive of the verb. So for example, I haven't seen my best friend in a week.
Llevo una semana sin ver a mi mejor amigo.
So first llevar, llevo, then a period of time, una semana, then sin, and then the infinitive of the verb ver.
So you'll notice this time it doesn't go into viendo, that ando yendo, because it's a negative idea. I haven't seen. Llevo una semana sin ver, without seeing. Sin ver A mi
And if we
mejor
wanted to
amigo.
say, I love having a car. I haven't used public transportation in years.
Me encanta tener coche. Llevo años sin usar el transporte público. Number 4. Llevar can indicate that someone is ahead or leading in some way.
And we're
this
going to
can be
skip
used
that.
for
I'm going to let you watch that on your own. If somebody is ahead during the game, which if you're watching the World Series, might be a thing, but we're not going to use that in our practice. So I'm going to skip over that and we're going to go into the other things, which are non-sport
used to mean
related.
to handle, to manage, or to be in charge of something.
Here's another use of llevar that is really, really helpful. Llevar, to handle, to manage, to be in charge of.
For example, Carla runs her grandpa's business.
Carla lleva el negocio de su abuelo.
Obviously, she doesn't carry the business, pick it up and move it, but she runs it. Yeah, she runs it. Okay, vale, lleva.
Manage all the projects as well as 10 employees.
Llevo todos los proyectos, así como dirijo a 10 empleados.
Now, this example is fun because although we're using the same verb in English, manage projects and manage people, in Spanish, we can use llevar to manage projects, and we could technically use it to mean to manage people, but it could be confusing because maybe we mean to take employees somewhere. So we change the verb here to be dirigir, to manage people.
Yeah, so managing a thing, managing a situation, managing a business, that is used with llevar, okay? Once we don't use it with people a lot unless you're physically putting somebody in your car and taking them somewhere. Then it's okay, all right? So managing people, they don't use llevar. Managing things, like a place of business, we use llevar.
It's a little tricky. What if we wanted to say, he handles the finances at home?
Ajá.
Él lleva las finanzas en casa. Okay, before we get into all our other uses, we want to thank.
And they've got some self-promotion, so we're going to skip there and go into our next
Thank you
use.
so much.
Okay, number 6. We use llevar when talking about what ingredients a dish contains.
Importante. Si estás en otro país, a veces quieres saber los ingredientes de un plato en un restaurante, por ejemplo, ¿sí? Llevar, what a dish contains. And this, obviously, a dish is not picking something up and carrying it over, but a dish has stuff in it, so, the ingredients used to make it. So we use llevar to talk about that.
Right. For example, does this dish have garlic?
Este platillo lleva ajo.
I can't eat that cake because it has chocolate and nuts.
No puedo comer ese pastel porque lleva chocolate y nueces.
The salad has lettuce, tomato, and avocado.
La ensalada lleva lechuga, jitomate y aguacate.
Excuse me, the dish of the day doesn't have a description. What's in it?
Disculpe, el platillo del día no tiene descripción. ¿Qué lleva?
And there's a common way to ask what's in a dish. You know, a lot of times at a restaurant, they put a fancy name on something, but you don't really know what that fancy name means. ¿Qué lleva? What's in it? What ingredients are in it? ¿Qué lleva?
Number 7, when we want to express
Marilyn,
to get
before you
along.
move on from that question, because I'm kind of following along with my notes from before when you did this. I have that you can also use it like for what you put in a suitcase or like in a container.
Sí, sí.
You don't use it for something that's stationary, like your house or a drawer. That's what I have in my notes, and I'm not sure if that's right.
Oh, something stationary. I guess not. That would probably be about right. Yeah, something that you're picking up and putting in a different place. See.
Like you wouldn't use llevar for like what you have in your house.
Oh.
Like what? Yeah, I'm thinking that's what.
No,
my notes
only
are.
if I move something. into the house, okay? Okay, por ejemplo, ok. Por ejemplo, es posible decir que, por ejemplo, estoy aquí en mi oficina, como sea, as it may be. Y mi esposo que está en el segundo piso, sí, en su oficina, él él quiere, por ejemplo, él, él quiere usar una cámara, sí, para un proyecto en su oficina. Pues es posible decir, llevo la cámara a la oficina de mi esposo. If I'm moving an object that is movable into a different spot in my house, I might choose to use llevar. ¿Entiendes? Make sense? ¿Sí? ¿Tiene sentido?
Yeah.
¿Sí? Bien. Okay. Vale. We're almost at the end here. We're
Or
going
to not get
look at a
along with
couple of
someone,
examples.
we use llevar in its reflexive form, llevarse, and then
And here, llevarse is really reflexive. Llevarse, true reflexive, not just me llevo, I take with me. Yeah. But the llevarse that means to get along with people.
be followed by the preposition con. For example, I get along well with my coworkers.
Me llevo bien con mis compañeros de trabajo.
And the me llevo bien is the get along well, right?
You don't get along with your neighbors?
¿Te llevas mal con tus vecinos?
So it might be te llevas mal. You get along badly, meaning you don't get along.
The teacher is complaining that her students don't get along.
La maestra está quejándose de que sus estudiantes no se llevan bien.
So one quick thing to point out, in this example,
And that actually we don't. So get along with each other is just, or don't get along with each other is the no se llevan bien. I'm going to give you the link so you can watch that whole thing again. Okay, vale. Llevar es un verbo muy confuso. This was a verb that people wanted me to go over. Y lo que ustedes van a practicar, what you're going to practice, you're going to actually put into use, because this is a very conversational verb. You heard it somewhat, some examples in el video de Andrea, ¿sí? Y aquí vamos o ustedes van a usar llevar, ¿sí? ¿Qué llevas cuando vas a una cena o una fiesta en casa de tu amigo o a una fiesta? ¿Sí? ¿Qué llevas? So we're going to take all of these uses of llevar from that particular video, and we're going to put them in use, but they're going to have different contexts. Some will be about taking an item, like these two. Some are going to be about wearing something on your body when you go out for a walk. Okay, bien. Something is going to be, sometimes it's going to be who takes you to a place, who puts you in a car and gets you to a different place. That use of llevar. See? So you're going to practice some of these conversational things. Vamos a empezar con esto. ¿Qué llevas cuando vas a una cena o a una fiesta en casa de tu amigo? Por ejemplo, ¿sí? ¿Qué llevas? ¿Qué llevas? Sí, Lori.
Llevo una botella de vino o pasteles.
Bien. Oh, pasteles. Sí, muy bien. Excelente. Lo normal, ¿sí? Muchas veces llevo un plato de fruta, ¿sí? Bien. Algo así. So you're going to have a chance to practice using llevar in all these different contexts. Okay. And these are all like pretty conversational things. I'm just going to preview what all of these are talking about. And you'll have all week to prepare that. And you can watch that video in its entirety again. So, what do you take with you when you go to a dinner or a party at your friend's house? Uh,
Can
when
I
you've
ask
got,
just a quick question?
sí, sí,
So
sí.
if I'm at the if I'm at the door and the host answers the door, then I'm going to use traer. I brought you.
Sí, en el
Okay.
destino, exacto. You show up at the door and you say, Look, I've got a cake. Mira, te traigo un pastel. Mira, te traigo un pastel. Perfecto, perfecto. At the destination, right. But all the way up till you get to the door, until you're talking to the hostess or host, all the rest of the way, it's llevar, okay? Bien? When you have a flight, what do you take in your hand luggage? See? What do you wear when you're leaving the house to go out for a stroll? Who takes you to the airport normally? Who takes you there? Hey, how many people can you take in your car? How many people fit into your car? How many people can you take? And there we need that little a personal. How many people can you take? See? ¿Qué ingredientes lleva tu receta favorita? ¿Qué ingredientes lleva? What ingredients are in your favorite recipe? ¿Sí? ¿Cuánto tiempo llevas en Scottsdale o en Arizona? ¿Sí? ¿Cuánto tiempo llevas trabajando en tu empleo? How long have you been working at your job? Or if you don't work anymore, because it's a negative idea, ¿cuánto tiempo llevas sin trabajar? How long have you not been working? ¿Sí? Eso. Bien. ¿Qué tipo de proyecto llevas en casa? And what kind of project are you managing at home? What kind of project are you in charge of at home? See? And we're using one of our examples of the get along version of llevar. ¿Qué se lleva, ¿qué se llevaron los ladrones en el Museo del Louvre? Bien, 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 bien. Por ejemplo, there's going to be one last example they're going to show you in that video. We didn't have time for it today. What did the thieves in the Louvre make off with? Wow, that's terrible English. I'm ending in a preposition. What did they take off with? What did they rob? ¿Qué se llevaron? What did they take away with them? What did they take away? What did they get away with? Talking about the Louvre. See? If you didn't see it, there was a big heist. It's talking about a heist. Okay? Todo bien? All good? So you're going to have the llevar video. We're going to have a lot of conversational questions. We're going to start with that. And then we'll come back with any other questions you might have from the second half of the Andrea traveling video. Okay? ¿Todo bien? Todo bien.
Gracias.
Muy bien.
Muchas gracias.
Y la semana que viene, usted, durante la próxima clase, during the next slide, durante la próxima clase, ustedes van a practicar mucho con llevar, con preguntas del video de Andrea viajando en el avión hacia México y todo eso. Any ideas too of other things you want me to work on with you this session? Feel free to email that to me. Okay? ¿Todo bien?
Gracias.
Excelente, sí. Y bueno, nos vemos. This link will carry you through the whole session, so keep that link. And if you lose it, just email me back and I can send it to you again. Bueno, nos vemos. Hasta luego, ¿no?